All right, Steven, I think they're ready for us. You ready?
Yep.
So, all the human beings in my apartment complex are all healthy and well.
Yo,
Oh,
I gotta tell
yeah.
you. Oh, I sent you the screenshot.
Yeah.
When I was up in State College, I sent a buddy the quick slants, obviously, and then it rolled over quickly into our podcast last week, and he was like, "Yeah, this all sounds good for the quick slants, but I'm more concerned about the guy in Christian's hallway. I need to know how he's doing. I need updates." So is he's gone? Like he's not there
he's
anymore?
he's gone again.
Okay, but he'll be
It
back. He'll
just
be back.
absolutely. Well, here's the thing. So I move next week. If you guys could see the boxes in the back, I move
Uh,
next week. I'm just going down the street.
well, at least you told me before you moved. I'm like
I
when
know
I didn't
exactly.
when Christian showed up at the wrong house.
Yeah, I know that could have actually happened. And if someone didn't tell me, I was just pulling up there like, oh shit. Oh,
Yeah,
they're moving clearly
yeah,
with the people inside the house and everything.
yeah.
But so you went somewhere this weekend.
Yeah, I was back home, went up for the Penn State Ohio State game. Did not go as well as I had planned. It did not go as well as my prediction has planned. Penn State was winning with 9 minutes and 26 seconds left in the fourth quarter, but somehow Ohio State scored 28 points in the final 9 minutes and 26 seconds. So that was kind of demoralizing to say the least. Um,
Mhm.
their D end, I can't pronounce his name, number 44. He's the first player this century, like so that's a long time, right? Long
Yeah,
time.
that's
That's
a
a lot of
long
football.
time.
The first player to have 2 sacks, 2 picks, and a forced fumble in the same game. So he
Wow.
had 6 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 2 picks. One of them was returned for a touchdown late in the game, and he had a fumble and then recovered that fumble. So he had himself a day. And
Hell yeah.
if he was an average defensive end, we win the game. But
Hmm.
my man just decided to go off against Penn State for no reason. And Penn State lost 44-31. So dropped a little bit in the rankings, but the playoff rankings came out last night. Penn State is 15th in the rankings to start.
That's
So
not bad.
we have 4 games left in the regular season. We'll climb our way back up in the top, borderline top 10, go to a New Year's Six game, finish 11-2, and we'll be off and running next season. But the quick slants, speaking of that, does come out tomorrow night, 8:30, same time as always. So took us out.
Yes, sir. So whenever Steven says it, I always think about for everyone out there that focuses on like the sports shows, PTI. Tony Kornheiser is always like no, Michael Obon's always
Same
like
time
same
tomorrow,
time tomorrow,
knuckleheads.
knuckleheads. Yeah. And
Yeah,
then whenever Steven says it, I think about the same thing.
same time tomorrow.
So couple of things just to talk about really quickly. So the spaces will be back on again next Monday. No matter what's going on in my life, I'll always keep the spaces going. I'm gonna run through a lot of this quick because sports is what we really need to touch on today for everyone out there. The other thing is, so anybody's, it's an NFT company. I'm not just saying anybody's, say anybody's. Anybody's is the NFT company that has partnered with Toys R Us, and they're going to be doing another NFT drop under the Anybody's brand. Their first one they did was their Anybody's OG collection. Then they did one with Take Keith. For everyone out there who knows Take Keith, he always says in the beginning of his producer, he always says, AT Keith, fuck the shit up. So Take Keith did a collection with them. I got one of the hoodies. So next time I'll probably show that to you. I'm hoping I can find a way for Steve and I to both see it, but on the bag, they have a way that if you have Instagram and if you have a smartphone, you can scan the bag and then it'll show like a cartoon Take Keith produce like making beats and stuff like that. It's pretty dope of what happens. You just have to scan your phone over. You have to have Instagram for it to end up working. So it's dope. I did it yesterday. I'll try to see if I could set up. If not, I'll send you all the link
You don't have
of
Instagram, do you?
no, I don't. I know. I don't even have the
What a
app. So I
loser.
always have like friends that do it for me.
What a
But that was the
loser.
other thing. The another thing is Rocker Nation, who we had on the show on Monday, they had their mint on November 1st. So yesterday, it didn't go perfect. They expected to sell, and I don't really want to say this because I know what Steven's going to say. They expected to sell their whole collection of 4,200. So far, they've only sold 440. So so it didn't go as planned. They're aspiring to be the next like Rolling Stones magazine for everyone out there, but they're based out of Washington, so
Come
Seattle,
on.
Washington. and they're focused on being the next Web3 one of that nature. So we had them on the show. They said that they made a partnership with Drunken Apes, and they're producing beer locally in Seattle, Washington. Then they also partner with the cannabis brand, but the
Beer?
thing that I focused on,
Is it beer? Okay.
yeah, beer. And then the one that they can ship that I'm working to see if I can get my hands on is whiskey.
Of
So
course.
if they
Of course. Of
so
course.
I'll see if they can end up doing that. I picked up one of their NFTs. They were minting for 0.69 for everyone out there that doesn't understand that. That's about like $23 to $24. But I didn't purchase it for that. I saw it on the secondary and it was going for $11. So I was like, sign me up. Let me just get that for half the price. So that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. Additionally, with that, the Fed increased their interest rates again, which everyone knew was going to happen, by 75 basis points, which equates out to 0.75%, so not even a full percent. But the important thing was they knew that was going to happen. If you look at your savings accounts, those are going to increase as well. For people that don't understand the correlation, if you have like Goldman Sachs, Allied, those big name savings accounts, they are very much impacted by what is happening with the chair when they're increasing interest rates. The other one I need to bring up is the homie himself, Elon Musk, is one of the biggest savages in the world.
Whoa.
One, he took over Twitter officially. He does have Binance a part of it. They gave $500 million, but in the grand scheme of it, that's not a lot at all. But he not only fired the CEO, he fired the one that ended up suspending and banning Donald Trump. He also got rid of like 2 or 3 other people, like a lot of C-suite people, and they all expected to get their severance packages. They ain't getting none of them shits. He legit said, y'all are gone. And the amount of money they were going to get was insane. I remember Parag, who was the CEO, he was supposed to get around like 42 million. That's not happening. I know the one that's in charge of like trusts and affairs and stuff like that, who was doing the whole Donald Trump thing. She was supposed to get like 12 million. That's on the fence if like that's going to happen or not. And then we have like the CFO and some others that were supposed to get money. They're probably not going to get it. So I just wanted to let everyone know about that, because Twitter.
And if you have a blue check, it's $8 a month now.
Yo, yes,
it will be.
And
it will be.
Yeah. So
no,
some
wait,
of the NFL players.
It's $8, right?
It's $8. Yeah, that was his way. His big thing. So 2 things. Elon Musk he took them private. Some of my friends end up saying they end up making money because he took them private. What that means is they're no longer on the public New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ or anything of that nature. So what they can do behind the scenes, they don't have to necessarily release it all the time. It does not affect anything that you all are doing. Same thing with TikTok. It's not affiliated by federal people and stuff of that nature, and people don't own shares. The other part with that being said is he's expecting to end up taking them back public in 3 to 4 years. We'll see if that ends up happening, but that is now 3 companies, technically 4, that Elon is head honcho for. One of them, Tesla, Twitter, SpaceX, and for most people that don't know, he was with PayPal. So that's 4 different companies that Elon just keeps doing things. And they all say that everyone is created equal at birth. That's false. Don't let anyone ever tell you that, because Elon is built differently, if he is even a human.
Do you see where we're sitting at right now?
Exactly. I know.
Like, do you see what there's like, my man got boxes behind him.
I know.
Like I got fake plants behind me, like
exactly.
No, we're not all equal.
No,
we're not equal.
So the final thing is, before we segue into sports, TSM, which is Taiwan Semiconductors, based out of Taiwan. That's the big fight that's happening between the US and China. TSM Semiconductors, they put the chips in Apple products and cars. They're working on various different chips that are going to end up helping impact the battery life of phones and stuff. So stay tuned for what ends up happening with that. They're one of the big brands for everyone out there that focuses on stocks. Put TSM on your radar as well. Segueing over to the big news, which we all want to talk about, sports. So the first part, till we get to our main stuff that we talk about, it's going to be called quick hitters. That's what we'll do for this one, or fast break, however you want to put it. I'm going to bring up a topic, and I want Steven's under a minute thoughts on these different topics that ends up happening. The first one is the Zags. So Gonzaga is looking to go into the Big 12. They have had talks with the Pac, whatever, how many you want to call them, because they keep losing teams. But the Pac-12, they've also had talks with some other conferences, but the main one they're focused on right now is the Big 12. What are your thoughts?
They should, because like no one respects them otherwise. Like, cool,
Yeah,
you playing
the whack.
the whack, and like the best team you play is Mount St. Mary's,
Yeah.
and like that's it. So
Mm-hmm.
you sure you win 29, 30 games every year, but like you play high school teams basically.
Yeah.
Like no other teams from your conference gets in.
Mm-mm.
Mount St. Mary's, is it St. Mary's or Mount St. Mary's? St. Mary's.
St. Mary's.
St.
Yeah.
Mary's. Shout out to Mount St. Mary's though.
Shout out.
Like St. Mary's, like they get in the tournament. I mean, it's like an 11, 12 seed, but like,
Mm-hmm.
like what is that? And then Gonzaga, how many national titles have they won?
I don't think that many. Yeah.
Zero. So yeah, sure, they're really good, and Mark Few is a really good coach. But like, no one picks him to win
Mm-hmm.
because they don't play against good competition. Now they do make it to the national title game, so that does mean something. But like not every year. They usually collapse the lead eight, maybe get to the final four. But yeah, go join the Big 12 or Pac 12 or whatever conference. Go join something that's not the whack and
Yeah.
play real teams. Shout out to the teams in the whack though. Not saying you guys aren't
Shout
real
out.
teams, but step your game up. So yeah,
Yeah.
they should absolutely do it. Just like Notre Dame should join a conference in football.
I
But
agree.
that's a different topic.
My 2 cents, and then we'll move on to the next one with Gonzaga. It'll give them a lot more credibility. A lot more players will end up wanting to go there. Recruiting, it'll help them a lot if they get into one of
Mm-hmm.
those, because then they will have a chance to win one of these championship games. You're not playing teams all year long, really, although they are at times, but you will have more competition throughout the year, which will make your team more battle tested when it comes to the NCAA tournament. The
Yeah.
next one I want to bring up is another important one, Steve Nash and the Ime Udoka situation and Jock Bond. So, what are your thoughts on Steve Nash getting fired?
Um, didn't see that coming. I thought
Thank you,
maybe they would
Kevin
give him another.
Durant.
I thought maybe they would give him another season. I thought maybe at least like halfway through the season, maybe the All Star break. The season started off pretty rocky for them. It's still rocky. I think they're 2-5 now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but sure, like let's get rid of Steve Nash. But Steve Nash is what, like 40 something,
Yeah,
and they gotta pay him. They gotta give him a buyout. So my man took his team to they didn't make the playoffs last year, right? Oh, was
they
that his
made
second year or first year?
second.
Because they made the playoffs. They lost to the Bucks in the conference
Yes.
finals his first year, and they made the playoffs last year. Didn't make it very far.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, it was a you know a I don't say a random hire when they did it, but kind of because he has no coaching experience.
Mm-hmm.
But my man is like mid 40s, probably close to 50. So he's gonna
Yeah,
get a nice severance package, unlike the people at Twitter. And
I
he
know.
doesn't have to deal with Kyrie, doesn't have to deal with KD anymore, doesn't have to deal with Ben Simmons. So my man can just go
Hell
live his
no.
life and ride off in the sunset. Probably get a job at TNT or ESPN or something like that, or start up a podcast because that's what they always do.
Yeah,
But he doesn't have to deal with any of that BS anymore. Doesn't have to deal with
no.
the New York media anymore. So like I'm not sure what the expectations were for him. I think the
Mm-hmm.
expectations for the team were like go to the finals because of who they have, but like I don't think Steve Nash was gonna be like, they were if they won the finals, I don't think they were gonna be like, oh, Steve Nash, a NBA championship winning coach, because
Mm-hmm.
he had KD and Kyrie. So yeah,
Yeah.
good for him. Like get your money. You got some love. Maybe you'll get a run with another team, maybe be an assistant. But yeah, go right off in the sunset. Enjoy your severance package and go deal with it.
Yeah. So I'll say the same exact thing as Steven said, because I do agree. I want to use that segue because of all these different buyouts that happen in sports. First off, I don't know why Steven and I are in the professions we're in, because I for damn sure would love to just be fired and just get the money they make. And I want
Again,
to talk about
nowhere else
Auburn.
in the world will you get fired. Like if I got fired tomorrow, they would give me like my next paycheck, and that's it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
And
one more thing. So let's go ahead and fire Steve Nash, who has done nothing
bring it.
wrong, and let's go ahead and bring in Ime Udoka, who was suspended by the Celtics for like workplace misconduct. Again, if I had inappropriate relations with someone I worked with, and it got leaked out, and I got fired because of it, there's no other company that's picking me up. Like, let alone like 3 months after it happened. Like, there's no way like I'm getting another job. Like Draymond Green still has a job. He knocked out his coworker 2 months ago. And Steve Nash didn't do anything wrong. My man got fired. Probably gonna get $25 million or something like that. And like, there's nowhere else where you can do any of that. So yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and fire Steve Nash. Bring in the guy who has a lot of sexual misconduct stuff. And Matt Barnes, other players were like, he's never coaching again. Psych.
Yeah, Brooklyn Nets was like, all right, you know what?
Yeah, let's go ahead and make our already dysfunctional team that
even
much
more
more dysfunctional. Like, what the fudge, man? That's crazy. But apparently the GM or someone did an interview at a press conference today. I think it was today, and they asked him about if you had found your next coach or any thoughts on that.
Sean Marks.
He said no, absolutely not. Probably a lie. He just didn't want to be like, yeah, it's Ime Udoka, guys.
I know. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that one?
Oh gosh, that's ridiculous.
So the other one I wanted to talk about was Brian Harsin. Talk about that for people out there, especially because you all played Auburn this year.
Yeah, they wanted him fired last year. So Brian Harsin was the coach at Auburn. He got hired 4 years ago, I think it was. And it's the SEC. The expectations are SEC championship or bust
every year.
But like, there's only a handful. There's only 3 teams really that can do it. Shout out to Tennessee though for being that team that's random this year. And I had a ton of people that went down to the Auburn game this year. Obviously, when I was up there last year, people were like, we're gonna give him one more year, and that's it. And then even before the Auburn game, they wanted him fired. Them losing to Penn State 42-13 didn't help. So surprised that it took this long. And it's funny because usually a team waits to fire their coach because the buyout drops, but they owe him like I think 20 something, almost $20 million or like 15 in that range. And then they still owe their last coach, Gus Malzahn, I think a handful of millions still. So like, you texted me the other day that I forgot to respond to you, but you said Auburn has that, that dumb money, like the SEC money. So they don't really care. And most teams wait until the buyout goes down after week, whatever it is. But they were like, nah, bro, you gotta go. And they fired him the day before his birthday. That's fucked up. Like, I know. Like I could never celebrate my birthday again. If I got fired the day before or the day after or on my birthday, I could never celebrate my birthday again. No, but it was about time. They suck.
Yeah, they do. So just to give you guys the numbers, because that's what I'm on the show for, whereas Steven knows all the information. He still owed 70% of the remaining money left on his deal, which comes to a grand total of $15.575 million. So $15,575,000. And he's due a gross salary of $425,000 for each month left in 2022. First off, Steve Nash, Freeze, they all are just like, look, fire us, and that is perfectly fine. As long as you're not Elon Musk as my boss, we do not care.
And that's in their contract clause. Like if we fire you, we will pay you. Yes. How does that make any sense?
It doesn't. That's not in my clause.
Your performance was so bad that we couldn't even ride out your entire contract. So we're gonna fire you. But good news, we're gonna pay you more than what you were making during the season. Yes. How does that make any sense? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't get it. I'm gonna try some of these things at work. I'm gonna punch my coworker. I'm gonna have some sexual misconduct going on. I'm gonna screw up with my CEOs. I'm gonna just do all those things. See what happens. We'll see where I land.
Yeah,
I'll probably land in divorce court and on the streets, but that's fine. No kids.
No,
but we'll still be chopping up every week.
Exactly. So the next one is even a crazier story, but I do appreciate this. Pete Rose. So Pete Rose. Yes, sir. So for everyone out there that knows about Pete Rose did nothing wrong. He's actually going to place the first legal bet at the Hard Rock Casino in Cincinnati on January 1st.
Of course.
So it's kind of a similar situation to the whole Reggie Bush thing. Everything around him just getting inducted or him getting this and that, he won't ever get but you'll do everything else around that. So he's able to make the first bet. And it's one of those puns in a sense of he's legit doing what he got in trouble for. So what are your thoughts on that?
Um, well, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's classic, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, he's gonna be. I mean, obviously, he's still gambling, like
Oh, absolutely.
consistently. Speaking of Reggie Bush, and I want to say, so the Fox Big Noon kickoff was at the Penn State game of the weekend, right? And like, I love College Game Day. I love all that kind of stuff, and I always have. Kirk Herbstreit, Desmond Howard, Lee Corso, David Pollock, Pat McAfee now. But like the Big Noon kickoff crew is like the guys that we grew up
Yeah.
idolizing, like football
Yeah.
players, like Matt Leinart, like one of the best
Quinn.
college quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
Brady Quinn, one of the best college quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer, I hate him, but like
I know.
resume speaks for itself. And
Yeah.
Reggie Bush,
Yeah. That's
like,
solid.
bro, there's me and Jordan were talking about this walking around the tailgates because like it was right there, and we're like, yo, Reggie Bush is right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like the closest we're ever going to be to Reggie Bush, probably until they come back next year. But like he's right there, and I'm like, and Jordan's like, yo, I don't fanboy, and we both agree on this. Like I don't fanboy over a lot of athletes that I see in person if I ever do see them, because it's just like, all right, cool, that's just so and so. But like Reggie Bush,
yeah, he
like
was
that's Reggie
the
Bush.
truth. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was the
like
truth in
he was
college.
the GOAT of like our era. So like that was like kind of cool. What is it? One or two athletes that you would if they walked by you and you were like, yo, that is so and you just lost your mind fanboy wise, who would that be? I would say Michael Vick would definitely be one of those guys. LeBron,
Yeah.
I don't even think I would react to that. It would just I would just pass out. Definitely Michael Vick, and probably Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Tiger would be up there. I think for me, it would probably be some sort of like soccer player. That'd be like one, only because
Did not see that coming. Did not see that coming. Who's a
so
good ODU great? Can you name any good
well,
ODU
so
football
here's the
players?
thing. I wouldn't fanboy over any ODU person because when I was at school, I was driving them around on the golf cart. So we were like
Sure.
homies. Like
Sure.
Taylor, we would be with like the D lineman and they'd be like, yo, there's Taylor, let's go get him. So I was like, all right, bet. Like Zach Pascal, like, yo, there's Zach, let's go pick him up.
It
Rick
was just everyday
Lavada.
stuff. Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
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 So, and that's the thing, like me seeing Taylor now, I'm like, yeah, that's Taylor was kind of like that, but him buying all the shoes and stuff, he wasn't that show me type of person. So seeing it now, it's like, all right, get your roses and flowers.
It's
I
funny
don't.
it's funny to see that like when we go tailgating, and you saw this too, when people like fanboy over Jordan. And it's like that's just like it's so funny because I'm just like, oh yeah, they're like, is that Jordan Hill? I'm like, yeah, it's Jordan Hill. And like he doesn't know. Like, I mean, I think he gets it, like how famous he is for like that group of people, like the Penn State fan base. But it's really funny to see that happen. It was funny to see him fanboy over somebody else. Because it's
Yeah,
usually the other way around, people fanboying over him. But yeah, when we kind of it clicked, like shit, Reggie Bush is right there. It was like, yeah, that's the go right there. That's the go. Matt Leinart, Brady Quinn, cool dudes. Fuck Urban Meyer, like good guys, all time greats. But Reggie Bush is the go. Like that's pretty dope. But Pete Rose, yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Good for you for gambling. Yeah.
the ones that I would say, if I was in college and I would fanboy over them, would be when it was Tavon Austin and like Geno Smith. When they were there, I wouldn't do it now, but if you ever go look up in your free time, everyone out there, Tavon Austin's college highlight tape.
Yeah, it's something.
That shit was something. And then he went to the NFL and he can't stay on a team. But like him, Deshaun Jackson, those receivers were not receivers in college. They were like
playmakers,
athletes. Yeah,
playmakers. Yeah.
I want quick thoughts, so like good or bad on the trades that happened. First one, Christian McCaffrey.
Seems to be working out pretty well. He had a touchdown pass, a touchdown catch, and a touchdown run. I think people can finally put him back in their fantasy lineups.
Oh, absolutely. The year I don't have him.
Yeah.
I chose him every single year. Every year.
Oh, that's so funny.
And it didn't happen. Next one is a homer for you, Claypool.
I I really wish he would have got going. I don't he had a lot of flashes, and I was very like when it's one of those things you're like it's almost there. I think he's gonna do well in Chicago if Justin Fields has time. He's instantly their number one target. He should get like 11 targets a game easily.
Easily.
So good for him. They got like their same return as what they drafted him as. They drafted him in the second round. I think they got like a couple picks higher. So yeah, they got good return, but I really wish he would have worked out in Pittsburgh because I think he can be a top 10, 15 receiver. I think he's inconsistent, but that's probably just because the offense. But yeah, I wish him well. I wish it would have worked out though.
The Steelers have too many weapons for their rookie quarterback. So I do like that Claypool is gone because Johnson's going to need his touches.
George Pickens.
Yeah, Pickens is going to need his, and Muth. That man is like your safety valve. So he's going to need his. If you ever look when Pickett is in some tough situation, it's going to be
Freiermuth. Every time he drops back.
Every time, yeah. So you have safety valves. There's not that many, but I can see Freiermuth becoming like a top 5, top 6 tight end.
I think
you have Everett up there.
I think Pickens might take over, not as the number one, but I think he'll get like 5 or 6 more targets a game now, easily.
Yeah, easily. It reminds me of this. Remember when Odell Beckham made that catch and like it sprung him to the start and everything? That's the same thing with Pickens. When Pickens made that catch, it was like, oh, Pickens. Although people knew who he was before, that catch just puts you in another stratosphere.
Yeah, people know what you can do.
Yeah, next one, Nyheim Hines going to the Bills.
Yeah, that's a massive weapon for them. Like that's huge. That's just like another because they had Singletary.
Yeah, right? Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. Zach Moss is gone now.
Yeah, that's just another weapon for them, and he's a much better receiving back than Singletary is. So like it just gives them an extra dimension, put them both on the field at the same time. I mean, that's just another weapon for that team.
Next one, Bradley Chubb and Jeff Wilson going to the Dolphins.
Sheesh. Dolphins turned Trey Lance into all pros.
Yes.
Great. That's great front office management. They knew what they were doing when they made the trade. And so turned into Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle with the draft Bradley Chubb. And I mean, now they're kind of rocking and rolling. So, I still don't get how Tua is back on the field, but that's a different subject. So yeah, I mean they're making moves though. They're making moves. Good for them.
Next one, Ridley going to the Jaguars.
Yeah, whenever he's not suspended, that's a massive pickup for them. Quiet because he's suspended. But next year that'll be really because they have a lot of those guys signed long term wise. They got Ingram, they got Kirk, they got ETN who's playing really well.
Baller.
And they got some other pieces they need to get together. But I think of like the really bad teams in the league right now, I think their record is not indicative of how they've actually played this year. Unlike some other shit teams like the Steelers.
Yeah, exactly. So my hypothetical situation / real situation, then we'll get into the picks. So if everyone knows that I have season tickets to the Chargers and the college football championship game is going to be at SoFi Stadium. So they offered me tickets to it. Of course, I'd have to pay for it. What are your thoughts on if they're $1,300 now for most of them? They have packages that are like $2,500. Do you think $1,300 for tickets in like the 200 level, those tickets are going to continue to go up? Or like last year, if people noticed, tickets plummeted as it got closer? What are your thoughts on how ticket prices are going to be for the college football championship this year, pending who's going to be in it?
I don't think it matters who's going to be in it. I think they're going to be high regardless, especially at SoFi. Are you asking me would I pay that? Yes.
Okay.
If Penn State was in the national title game, I would sell my house and go to the game.
So that's what I think about. Yeah, because
but it's also it's also broken up into like it's not all going to the fans. Like not all those they don't split up 50-50. It's just like Joe Schmo can go buy tickets. It goes to like certain lettermen certain alumni and certain other folks, and then they get down to the common folks, the peasants who can buy who can buy those tickets. So, but yes, I would absolutely pay that.
So All right, because I asked that because they called me today and like I was talking to them and then they said, yeah, we have these ticket packages that are like 2,500. No, absolutely not. They're like, yeah, we have some that are 4K. No, not doing that. Just give me regular ticket prices in like the 1,300. And then I would end up picking those up and then reselling them. But
Are we doing the picks?
yeah.
Okay, real quick. I want to run through I did the
You
stats
did the
for our
points.
NBA.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so recap. My team is Luka, LeBron, Brandon Ingram, Bojan Bogdanovic, Andrew Wiggins, Paolo Banchero, Kyle Kuzma. Christian's team is John Morant, Giannis, Jaylen Brown, Halliburton,
Burton.
Christian Wood, Malcolm Brogdon, and Jordan Poole. Christian's team has 1,044 points. Your boys' team has 1,059.
What?
So I'm beating you by 15 points. So your boy, well, your low score on your team is Brogdon only has 80 points. And mine is Brandon Ingram who only has 66 points. He's only played in 3 games.
That's
So
not good. Yeah.
But the record for Christian for his East teams, which are the Cavs and the Knicks, is that what you had?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cavs and the Knicks, Memphis and the Clippers, because you took the Clippers after they beat the Lakers opening night.
Yeah.
The record for you overall is 15-11. Mine, I have Boston and Detroit in the East, and Memphis and the Lakers in the West. Mine is 11-16. So you're beating me with the record, but points is more important. So your boys beating you in the points by 15 points. So
that's not bad.
you're welcome.
Okay. So I know. Thank you for that one.
You did not think I was gonna do that, did you?
I know I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't even like text you or anything.
Nope.
I was like,
when it happens, it happens.
See? Exactly. So getting into something else that Steven has to be prepared for is the game picks this week. Don't really need to talk to you about who's winning because I promise you Steven's winning by a lot. Last week was the only week I won. So put that into context. And we started this in week 2. And Steven's won every week but last week. Eagles, Texans.
Eagles. No way they're losing.
Hell no. That's the one game I know they're not. After looking at what just happened to them against the Titans, absolutely not. Chargers, Falcons.
Chargers.
So I'm going with the Chargers. I kind of need them to end up winning. Dolphins, Bears.
Dolphins.
So I have the Dolphins in that one. Justin Fields is starting to come along a little bit. I do like to see that. Panthers, Bengals.
Bengals. Bounce back win after that Browns game.
So this is normally when I pick crazy. I'm not doing it this game, but I will say Deontay Foreman will go off, but I'm going with the Bengals. Packers, Lions.
I am going with the Lions.
Really?
Packers are going to fall apart now.
Really?
I am going with the Lions.
So I have the Packers. I need them to do something. Otherwise, they're going to need to find some sort of wide receiver in the offseason. Colts, Patriots.
I'm going to go with the Pats.
The Colts stink. That's all I'm going to say. Bills, Chiefs.
Bills. Absolutely Bills.
I have the Bills in that one. The Jets are not good with Zach Wilson. I don't care what anybody on this whole planet says.
It's tough.
Zach Wilson is not good, but the Jets are a good team, if that makes any sense for people out there. Yes. Vikings and Commanders.
Commanders. They're playing well, which is weird.
The Commanders, yeah. They're supposed to get Chase Young back soon. I got the Vikings. They got TJ Hawkinson. So to go with Thielen and Jefferson, we'll see what ends up happening there. But Raiders, Jags.
Oh, man. Jags.
So this is the craziest.
Raiders are falling apart as well.
This is the craziest thing I'm going to say, and this is how Steven and I are always separated. I have the Raiders only because the Raiders can't keep losing. I really want to pick the Jags.
You did that last week.
I did. They just lose like all the time. Seahawks and Cardinals.
Seahawks, man. Seahawks on a roll.
What's so funny is I really want the Seahawks to keep winning. And if the Broncos keep losing, the Seahawks look like the smartest team in the world. Shout out to Tyler Lockett for what he said. He straight up called out Russell Wilson. And I have nothing against what he said there. Rams, Bucks.
Man, both these teams are really need to win. I'm gonna go with the Rams. It's in Tampa, but I'm gonna go with the Rams.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks in this one. Titans, Chiefs.
Chiefs.
So I got the Chiefs. Although
who did they just pick? Didn't they just get somebody?
Who?
The Chiefs? Maybe not. Maybe somebody else.
No. Anyway, last one, Ravens, Saints. I don't really need to answer this one.
I don't even care. I'm going with the Saints.
So I have the Ravens, of course. I need to see if Mark Andrews is going to play. That's a big one out there too. Lamar Jackson needs a wide receiver. I don't know when they're going to do it. They have Deshaun Jackson, but we don't know if Deshaun Jackson's going to be old Deshaun Jackson. What you got?
Um, Shout out to my wife, and you'll when they feel this. Well, maybe you do already. Uh, Shout out to having husband PTO. It's a bit. It's a real thing, and a lot of guys that
Really?
I know that I said it to, like jokingly, they're like, yeah, that's good. That's good." And someone asked me, "How do you have so much?" Because I started with the bowl game this year. I went on a golf trip. We went to the Lakers game. I went on a golf trip this summer. I've been to 3 Penn State games, which is more than I usually go to. I traveled to a Penn
Mhm.
State game. I went to 2 in 3 weeks, and everyone's like, how do you have so much of this quote unquote husband PTO?" I just know when to use it. So you got to know when
Mm.
to use it. And I told
Mhm.
Brooke a long time ago, I only need 12 days of the year during the season. Like I'll give up NFL Sundays. Um, but I need like those 12 days during the Penn State season. I need like 36 hours just during the game. And, I travel to some games, but I don't do anything else during the year. Like
Mm.
the bowl game was a random trip. It was basically free. Um, the golf trip, the Lakers game was for my birthday, so that was a random thing as well. Golf trip, I had planned that a long time in advance. So, it doesn't roll over to next year. So you got to use all the PTO
Yeah,
you have,
you do. You do.
because
I know.
it doesn't, you
Use
don't
it or lose it.
accrue, like it doesn't build up for next year. So if I save 2 weeks, I don't get that next year. So, you know, I used all of it this fall, use all of it this fall, use all of it.
Hmm.
So I'm done traveling for the remainder of the season. Not going to the bowl game because I've already used that. But yeah, shout out to my wife for somehow allowing me to do this, and shout out to the guys all over the world who do this.
Yeah, I did not know that was a thing. I was
It
over here
is
trying
it
to
is
add it
now.
up in my head
Yep.
of
I
what
don't
it
know.
is.
I don't know how I did it either, but
I know.
here we are.
No,
King
shout
shit.
out for that one. It is. Yeah, so I'll just end mine with saying one, shout out to everyone that ends up listening to this. Big thing is next week I'll probably be in and out of like moving stuff around. So if y'all do or don't hear from me, you know why. Other thing I want to just talk about is fantasy football. So make sure you guys just set your lineups because there's going to be injuries. And just remember that these players are human beings too. A lot of times people just think that they're not.
There's 6 bye weeks this week, so everybody
Hell
knows.
yes. Yeah,
So
there's a lot.
a lot of bye weeks. The
Yeah.
Browns, Cowboys, let's ride Bronco Nation, let's ride. The Giants, Steelers, and the Niners all have bye weeks. So 6 teams.
Yeah. Last thing I'll just say, shout out to Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb. They are having seasons unlike any other right now. Other than that, we out.
Peace.